The class is I will take you through the different ways how you can get to know about consumer insight. I will also tell you regarding how to capture the voice of the customer. We will discuss about some situation and try to analyze it, and then we will try to wrap up the course, and then we will be I will just give you what you wanted to understand in the end term question pattern that you remind me at the end of the session. Okay, so let us start. If you understand and recollect, in my last class I talked about consumer journey, you remember? So let me share with you the whiteboard. So when we are talking about consumer journey, yeah. So if I take it in this way, so customer starts with the need recognition. So in this way, let us say the start of the journey is consumer need recognition, and then he goes for search for information, evaluation of alternative, purchase intention, purchase decision, purchase action. Why I went for making this journey appear to be in this way is it that when they started the journey and then they started searching for information, they were very happy. But by the time they are evaluating it, they have a lot of pains, there is no clarity. Some of the things are not very mm, updated. Then again, when they go for purchase intention, they have a high, then there is a low, and then there is a high. So the journey can take any way. It can be totally like this, where there is happy, happy, or it may be some place happy, some place pain, some place losses. So you need to see when a person goes through this journey, what are the different pointers he comes across and how he is feeling in terms of that point or factors or drivers. That is one. Second is, so first try to find out the consumer decision journey and try to map out what are the gains and what are the pains. So gains are good, not an issue, but pains are the concern. You should see what are the pains. You should preempt what can be the pain and try to take cognizance of that. In order to know what are the pains, we go for consumer insight. But before that, we go for research. And I will tell you what is the difference between research and insight. I think I have told you in the last class, till then I will reiterate. Research means you will figure out, you will try to find out what are the, or what are the reasons why a person, just a minute. Hmm. So research means you need to find out. In market research, you have to gather information about what is your market size, who are the customer, which is my segment. All these things you try to gather through market research. But when you are going for consumer insight, besides gathering information, you also try to suggest some recommendation. So research is all about what is happening, whereas consumer insight is about why it is happening. So you need to understand, if I can share the whiteboard, you need to understand the what and the why of the research. Yeah. So research is what and insight is why. So when you are searching for information, data, what is happening, you also can get lot of insight about why it is happening. This will help you for recommendation or marketing action plan. And at the end of the day, it will influence your bottom line. When you know the pain points through the research, you will understand why it is a pain point, and hence you will try to make these pain as the gain points. Now let us try to understand what are the methods of research. In the last class I had told you, if you recollect, so research is something, see, research is not that complicated also. Marketing research cannot be very vague. It has to have an objective. So let us say my objective is to understand What type of consumers use artificial intelligence? Yeah, when they go for decision making, let us say this is my objective. So if it is what, meaning which gender, what type of people, what is their educational qualification, I want to know the characteristics, I will go for market research. And because it is descriptive, meaning you want to know people characteristics, you can go for a survey, you can go for any type of survey, online, offline, direct survey, all these things. Now if I want to know, okay, these type of people go for artificial intelligence in decision making, they use it, they use chatbots, they use virtual reality, but why do they use it? Why is it that certain people use it in a larger way, whereas some people use in a very small way, very rarely? Why is to do with exploring? Because I don't know. So when you go for exploring, it is qualitative research. But when you want to understand the what, how many low age, high age, more qualified, female, male, these are quantitative things which you can capture. So you go for a survey, which is a quantitative survey, and this will give you some statistics. For this, your sample size will be little large. For this, it will be little less. Why? Because this is depth. When you understand the why, it is very difficult. You need to know exactly the reason. Let me give you an example. So let me see how many people are present today. Just a minute. Give me a minute. Hmm. So let us say participants are only 26, right? So I want to know what type of participants attended my class. I'm giving one example for you to understand. So I can know, 26 people are there. I can know what is their gender, what is their qualification, what is their age. So easy to capture. But if I would like to know why only 28 people participated, not more, so I will try to then take few of you randomly, but you need to be representative to understand what could be the reason. One of the method is focus group discussion. So what I will do, I will say, okay, Sandeep, tell me what could be the reason why people did not come for the class. I will say, Mayank, tell me what is the reason. In that way, I will give them scope to speak up anything they want to regarding the why aspect of not attending the class. So it requires to go deep, and let us say I take 3 4 people from your entire batch, it will be good enough for me to know the reason. But if I only go for, let us say, people who are male, not female, or let us say I go for students whom I like, then it is bias. Why bias? Because male have a different reason, female have a different reason, correct, for not attending a class today. Or if people are very intelligent, or let us say the most, I would say those who are very studious or very career oriented, I only take them, then they will not be able to give me the right picture. So even if I take a small number, it has to be representative of your class. Similar is the case of your research. So let us say I would like to do a research why people are using artificial intelligence. I cannot go and talk to people who are aged and don't know anything of artificial intelligence. They are not my target audience. So I need to see who is my target audience who are using artificial intelligence. In that, who uses, who does not use. So if my target audience are youth so I'm trying to study why youth uses artificial intelligence. So if youth is my target audience, I need to take different shades of youth from different having different psychographic, youth having different demographic, youth from different geographic, youth having different type of technological knowledge. So that shade will give me a better insight. Now let us say I would like to say, there is I would like to know the causality. So if you want to know the cause, And the effect relationship, meaning what results in using AI. So is it that if there is a incentive, people use AI? I will go for an experimental design. For few groups, I will be giving them incentive. Few groups, I will not give incentive. And see those groups which got the incentive, did they use AI? No. If yes, then the treatment of giving incentive is effective for use of AI. So this is one method, quantitative method of doing research, very widely used by the company. We will go for some other technique. Here what we are doing in all these techniques, we are trying to depend on the memory of the consumer. All this technique which I explained depends upon it is the self-report of the respondents, and it depends on the memory of the respondent. So if the respondent has the memory, he can answer. If the respondent is a person who is articulative, he can answer, you know. So for self report, a person has to be articulative, should remember, should be honest. But generally what happens in such type of scenario, particularly in survey, yeah, so people generally would like to make me happy. So they will tell everything good to the respondent, to the researcher. So drawback is, or the limitation of such type of research design is, when you are depending solely on self-report, what consumer remember and replies. So the demerit is they may be artificial, or they may not remember, and therefore they may say whatever comes to their mind, so they cannot be articulative, or sometimes they do not get words to convey. And your particularly in survey, because they have a choice from the limited option, you are not giving them any scope to tell something beyond the choice. So therefore you need to understand some research design, particularly survey, does not give choice. Hence we go for qualitative research or experimental design to take care of these drawbacks and to get more reliable result, more validity of our results. Therefore, we also go for mechanical device to capture, consumers' data, informations, and their emotions. So, what do you mean by mechanical device? So, when I'm saying mechanical device, it can be a camera, yeah, it can be a glass which you can wear. So there are different types of mechanical device. Traditionally, what used to happen, these mechanical devices were independent. What does it mean? Independent means in the retail store, they will have some camera, they will have some audio video recordings. Yeah, they will have a camera inside the bunch of vegetables. So there will be a camera to see what is being picked, what people speak, what they do. In the retail, as you enter in, there may be some camera which will capture your body movements. So these were independent. But now, in with the new evolution, there is a group of research which is under the name neuroscience. Here, the mechanical device are used on the consumer, meaning it will be planted on my head, or I may be requested to wear a specs, or there may be I may undergo a ECG. There are many type of mechanical device which will be put onto my body, head, eye, whatever, and permission has to be taken. Now, what this neuro device helps us in? So, let us say I'm using a specs. So, when I am using a specs and looking at all of you, or I put a specs on you people and try to find out, is it that when I'm using a whiteboard vis-a-vis a PPT, vis-a-vis a video, vis-a-vis nothing I'm discussing, where students are able to, or participants are able to understand better? Yeah, so the part of the brain where the blood flows, that means you are able to understand it better. Yeah, because that part is to do with understanding, comprehension, fluency. So if it is that if I only talk, that part of the brain does not get the flow of blood, means it is not effective way of teaching. Yeah. So these type of devices are being used in different type of sectors. It is used for understanding what packaging will help. It is also used for understanding in educational sector what makes people or students or participants attentive. It is also used to capture advertising, which part of the advertisement is triggering excitement, impulse buying, window display. All these places are the area where you can use neuroscience device. Besides mechanical device, I said there are many indirect techniques which would capture, your behavior. So what are they? For example, let us say I am browsing through Amazon. Yeah. So now when I go through Amazon, what is the area I am feeling little uncomfortable, which part of my decision I am taking a lot of time. So there are now areas which are called ethnographic, videographic. So what happens, there are softwares. What they will do, as I browse through Amazon, the software which will be there on your laptop or the device through which you are trying to buy the product when you go online, they will capture your mouse movement. The laptop will have the camera which will record your face and the voice, and the entire data will be analyzed to understand what was your facial movement when you were going to the drop menus. Where did your eye go? How did it gaze? Did it go right, left, down? Yeah, from which product it went to the next product in the Amazon landing page. And also, what is that I was speaking? Is it that I was saying, oh, oh, I cannot see, or it is taking too much of time? What is that I am speaking? All these are captured, analyzed, and there is some improvement made to the landing page or the website. Yes, Arpita.
Ma'am, like similar to your thing, there's the best example I can give on the same context is like Google's. Some of the cookies are now has been used. Not only the Google, many companies they drop the cookies, and that cookie also do the same thing. They just capture each and every moment, like what you're doing, what you are accessing on your mobile phone. So it's just for studying the different type of customer behavior at what time you're what selected, and on the basis of that we get the pop-up advertisement of that related product. So
Correct.
that is nothing but understanding the customer behavior.
So, Arpita, when you are collecting the data through these sources, cookies or your records which are kept, trace record, meaning you made a payment. So, all those trace data which are left in the data server. So, those data are called market research. But when you analyze those data points, those information, and take some action, is consumer insight. That's the difference. Yeah. Okay, Jay Prakash.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am, exactly. If we are go for the artificial intelligence in the regarding we are in pure sales career. So
huh.
is that any uh, relevant to go for a artificial intelligence course? Is it there is some just I am doing my just course doing from the Indore district EFPM. So is it possible to, is it any relevant to if you will go for the artificial intelligence course towards our this sales career would be any
So
advantages?
what I will do, Jay Prakash, this is not a question relevant to this particular topic. So
Okay,
what I will do,
okay.
I will take it offline after the
Just is
discussion,
yes,
maybe
yes.
after the class gets over or the
Okay, okay,
Q&A session, right? Break.
okay, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so this is all about your what you are asking people to memorize. One is mechanical device. The other is you are not asking, just observing from a distance, either through your eyes or through mechanical device. Whatever it is, you need to be extremely careful. What is your objective? If let us say my objective is just to know Mayank's demographic background. So what is his age? What is his qualification? So why I'm taking Mayank's name, people may be wondering, because I can see his face. Others are all on mute. So therefore, I thought if I take a name and the person is not there, makes no sense. So since I can see Mayank, therefore I'm taking the name. So Mayank, if I want to know about you, your demographic profile, I can ask you. Similarly, if I want to know about Jay Prakash, I can ask you. But let us say I don't want Jay Prakash to be biased, to behave artificially, to answer in a way which you would make me feel happy. I'm not interested in that. I want to exactly know what is going in the mind of Jayaprakash. There are indirect way of probing. There are devices which will help me, and there are techniques which, by asking Jayaprakash in such an indirect way, I will be able to capture it, and Jayaprakash will not know. Yeah. So therefore, surveys I will not go into detail because you people know about it. Yeah. Rather, we will go for indirect techniques, which I think would be of some relevance to you. Yeah. So, may I get to know? Oh, have I covered up? Just give me a minute. In my last class, did I cover up, how to measure market customer experience, net promoter score, customer satisfaction, customer effort score, churn rate, lifetime value, retention rate, journey analytics, customer health score?
Yes, ma'am. I did cover the major customer
I
experience
gave you
NPS.
the,
I gave the formulas, ma'am.
and I gave the formulas. Very good. So now let me take you through a quick indirect techniques, and then we will come to some situational analysis. Okay. So let me share with you a PPT. Just give me a minute. Yeah. Are you able to see what I'm showing?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So now, as I said, there are screencast videographic. Just now I said about it that instead of netnographic means there are one is ethnographic. Ethnographic means you go to the people's house, or you go to the community, you stay there for a while, try to observe them, understand their culture and social norms, and design your brands, product, packaging, advertising. Netnographic means you don't go to their house physically. You go online and try to capture the sentiments of the consumer. What are the sentiments which are flying in the online world? What are people speaking about our brand? Which are the other brands which are being mentioned? What type of words are used? Are they very negative or positive? Yeah. How many people speak about it? So all these are netnography, which we use as sentiment analysis, right? To understand what are people's sentiments. But there is a new technique called screencast videography, which just now I said. So there are some dynamic softwares and tools which can help you to capture exactly how a person is navigating. Yeah, but what Madam just now said, Arpita, which was on cookies will just talk about my mouse movement. But when I go for screencast videography, it talks to me, it will give you a lot of data about how my facial expressions are. It also talks about what I speak when I'm going through the Amazon landing page, and it also captures many other body movements, action, reaction, my eye movements, which is a huge insight. So based on this insight, I can always try to design my landing page, and I can make my website appear a little more customer friendly, right? So these are some of the ways how we can capture. Any questions from here?
Ma'am,
Hmm.
ma'am, social listening tools are there
Yeah.
where you can hear what people are talking about brands, different brands. So
Yeah.
will that come under netnography?
Social, yes, it will. In social listening tool, it only tries to listen what people are speaking. But what I
Right.
said just now is me as an individual, how do I navigate when I go to Amazon in terms of what I think, what I speak, what I display, my body behavior. Of course, social listening tool is a good tool to understand how people behave, what they speak. So yes, it is on netnographic, which is to do with sentiment analysis. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. So now we will try to understand the next thing, which is to do with, I talked to you about the observation, which is either through ethnography, videography, ethnography. It's all about your observations. Next, let us try to go for the little, this will be little complex, but I hope I am able to, able to do justice. So give me a minute to share the video. Sorry, the PPT.
Ma'am, excuse me, ma'am, I have one question more.
Yeah.
Ma'am, these do follow ads when you go to websites, for example, Amazon and all, and you visit some product, and then after that they follow you wherever you go. So what will those ads come under?
Those are they are tracing your data footprints
Right, right.
as you go across. So that's more to do with what is your behavior in different platforms.
Okay,
More to do with the what, not the why.
okay.
Hmm. So now I will take you through a very, very complex technique, but this is a technique which is used by many of the business firms. But let me tell you, you may not get lot of, I would say, secondary data, because now any company which does it would not like to share it in the online platforms. Yeah, because it's a data mining for them. It's an insight which they would not like the competitors to have a viewpoint of it. But still, then I will try to take some of the examples. So this is called Zaltman metaphor elicitation technique, which is ZMET. It's an indirect technique. So why are we using an indirect technique? I have already said people sometimes may not have their memory to recollect. There are people who would not be able to articulate what they are trying to think, or the words may not come to them. They may be very artificial when they know that you are trying to capture some of the data or some of their views. So therefore, we go for a Zaltman technique, which is an indirect technique. So what do you do over here? You try to understand what is consumers' brand knowledge. You can also try to capture product, understand whatever through a technique called free flow association, storytelling, or collage creation. Zaltman is more about cutting pictures, making a collage, and then speaking about it. So in this technique, what happens? We are not depending on person's memory, or we are not depending on his, I would say his, what to say, his capacity to remember the words. So we are not depending a lot on his verbal knowledge or vocabulary, right? So what we do in this technique is we will be calling few of the target audience, not much, maybe 20, 30, 40. 40 is also too much. We go between 20 to 40. And then what we do, we call them to our lab, and then we tell them that, okay, just tell us what do you understand, associate, think when you are, when you see the word chat GPT. So we just leave them a line saying, look, what do you think when the chat GPT comes to your mind? What do you associate? What do you think? What it makes you feel? And then they have said, this, what you feel, what you associate, what you think, do not answer. Just go back home, take 20 days time, scan through some of the magazines, photos, anything you want to, cut it and make a collage out of it, and then do come after 20 days. So we specify the date, the time, and the venue, and then ask them to come back. So within this 10, 15, 20 days, when they have a lot of time, they may take a picture, they may take a word, they may take a scene, a flower, a vegetable, whatever they want to, they collect these pictures and make a collage. So when they have made a collage, they will be coming back to the venue on the designated date. So when they come with the collage to the designated date, then what happens? Face to face, one by one, in detail, questions are asked. So let's say Sayogita has made the college. So I will say, okay, Sayogita, I will welcome her. I will give her I will make her feel comfortable. And then I will say, okay, how was your experience? I hope you were able to enjoy it and do it. Fine enough. Please feel comfortable. There is no right and wrong answer. And try to express as much as you can. So I will ask Sayogita, tell me which was the first picture which you collected. So she will show me a particular picture. Then I will ask, what does this picture represent? So she will be saying something. So now when she is able to say something, not directly about the brand or the product, so when she is saying something which is a metaphor, from there I will take her to the next question. So why do you think so? Let us say she says, she gives a picture of a huge mountain. So maybe she wants to say, Chat GPT is something which is enormously potential. So I may say, but why do you think it is enormously potential? So I would be going through in detail, propping her mind and trying to capture her voice through the pictures. So once she feels exhausted with the first picture, I will move on to the next picture. So I will ask, okay, Sayogita, can you tell me which was the next picture you selected? Then she will take me through those process. Now, in this process, it may so happen that when she gets exhausted, I will not force her beyond a point. But I may check with her, like, okay, Sayogita, is it that you wanted to express, you did not get any picture? Would you be able to tell me which is that picture you were searching for, but you did not get it? Yeah. I can also say, okay, Sayogita, can you tell me which are the two, three pictures you associate more? So it's a very, indirect technique. It requires a lot of expertise. You need to keep Sayogita in the flow. She should not get diverted here and there. And me as a researcher should not go with assumptions, and I should not get carried away. And all of these are recorded. Later on, when Sayogita goes away, I then call upon the next person. So in that order, we get 20 to 30, articulation of the ideas. And based on these articulation, I will be using some software. There are many softwares. NVivo is one, Atlas IT is another. So all these verbatims, the text, the qualitative statements will be processed, and then certain themes will emerge. Based on these themes, I can either go for designing, redesigning, developing a communication, or whatever I think is good enough, I will do it. So from this theme, I can understand, I see. Chat GPT is associated with these themes, or Chat GPT has some negative association. So as a researcher, when I'm bringing up all these insights, as a brand manager, these insights will be so helpful for you that you would like to redesign any of the piece, maybe the product, the price, the promotion, the whatever is there which is emerging from the theme. So this is one of the way how you help people to spontaneously think metaphors, fantasize, and the hidden emotion, thoughts, and association comes to the surface level, which was in their subconscious mind. But directly, if you ask, they will not be able to articulate. Any questions? Any questions? Have you come across such technique? Have you ever thought before you attended my class
We've
that
seen
this
ads, some
example
ads which
technique
show
can
it.
be used? Yeah, please go ahead.
There were some ads I remember which showed this, that invited people and all. Some ads of some brand, Diwali or something. I don't remember exactly.
Okay. Okay. Any other person has come across such ads? Okay. So let me show you a real-time example. So give me a minute to share with you. Yeah, so Bata did such a thing. So what they did was they did came up with are you able to see?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
Bata, which was, youth were not able to connect and buy Bata. So if you ask them, okay, tell me about Bata, some may say, some may not say. So what they did, they asked them to collect pictures. And it is interesting, you can do it in many different ways. So let us say you collected the pictures from around 20 participants. So what you can do, the analysis can be done across two cohorts. One is youth and the one is adult or the old. So old associate Bata, which is to do with nostalgia, trust, patriotics. it is affordable, it is accessible. Youth may try to associate it with something which is, I'm very indifferent. It appears to be very conservative. I don't like the smell and the touch. The colors are not that exciting. Yeah. So from here, what you can know is these two cohorts have a very different perception about Bata. Hence, can I go for having some design which are purely for the oldies and certain designs which are more for the youth, and then I can rejuvenate and revitalize my brand which can get a good connect with the consumers. So if you see over here, people have written affordable. So look at the picture. So this talks about affordable, something which you can trust on. Bata is sasta, sundar, majboot. That is nostalgia, strength, and durable. So there is an element of durability. So this one, this hand. So it's all about strength. Yeah. It's all about trust. So Bata is something which is from families, history, heritage, over the period. It has been, so it's thrill and excitement. So they are showing this picture. So I have just given you certain, nostalgia, strength, durability. It does not come in that way. People don't say it's nostalgia. People, if you are a good researcher through metaphor technique, you will be able to bring people a story. They should be able to articulate. They will not say, Bata means nostalgia. Nah, they will give stories which may run in a para, which may run to 2, 3 lines. And when I collate it and at an aggregate level, when I am trying to figure out what is the commonality from their stories and verbatim, then I develop the theme called nostalgia or strength or accessibility or whatever. So this is the end result of the research. Yeah, you are not being shown the process. The process is when we ask people to gather pictures, come up with all those, verbatim when we will be interacting with them. And 20 to 30 people, when they collect the data, the pictures and talk about it. So what is becoming very common, those pictures and themes I have shown you in this slide. It's not necessary each of the 20 people have used this, this hand or the family with the scooter, may not be. But when I am saying that after this aggregate data, I will figure out which are the pictures, which are the verbatim, which are the stories, which has commonality, and then I will come up with this final result. Yeah. Yeah. Any questions? Yes. Any questions? Fine. Now I will go to the next technique. But before I go to the next technique, I will ask you any technique which you know, which are very indirect, very sophisticated. I will go for the next technique, and this technique was used in the presidential election in America. Are you aware of any other? Yes, sir. Taram, you have raised the hand.
Yeah. So, ma'am, this is basically in lines to what you were explaining. Not exactly we are following the same thing. So right now we receive around 30 million users, site visitors every month. So that's a huge number. And when these visitors come and they interact and they make their purchase decisions and go and buy things on Amazon and Flipkart. So what we have started doing is identifying like one or two guys. So we have built a community of 5,000-6,000 people, and now identifying these guys from different cities, and we pay them their flight tickets and hotel stays, and we call them to our office like once in every 1 year, and then we involve very heavily in discussing with them and identifying like how they make their purchase decisions while going doing the research and they end up buying things on Amazon and Flipkart. So it helps us understand like, okay, user perspective, how they make their purchase decisions. And we came to know like, okay, these were the few elements of the site which were not important for us, but it played an important role to them. So that eventually helped us in evolving the product from there.
So, Tarang, when the technique which I spoke about, which is Altman metaphor technique, this is a very sophisticated high-end technique. Naturally, it is It takes time to interpret, it requires expertise, it is very expensive. All companies cannot use it. But companies which are more into sensory branding, or they are more into experience, selling experience and services, or let us say designing some creative, so they use such type of indirect. Reason being, when you are trying to gauge the indirect, like for example, if I say, okay, Tarang, tell me your experience of a physical class and a virtual class. So, Taran, you may try to come up with certain words which may be because of your, I'm just giving an example, maybe because of your limited vocabulary, or maybe you are not very good in articulating. Okay. So, let us say I want to gauge Taran's subconscious
Hmm.
mindset. It will never come with the survey.
Yeah.
Because Taran himself does not know why he has done something, what he is doing. So, in order to layer out the subconscious part of your behavior, we go for indirect technique. Got Taran? What you said is okay, we do it, but if you want to get some sophisticated, hidden, subconscious motivation and urge, that's the reason why they go for it, right? Okay, then? Okay, good.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyone else would like to share? Jayaprakash, would you like to say something? Please.
No, ma'am.
So, like for example, it was interesting when virtual classroom became the norms. Most of the people were on the mute. Yeah, it's not that they were not there behind the screens. They were there behind the screens, but they were not making themselves, visible. So, when a research was done, we would know what was the surprising finding of it. Can anyone tell me? Any guess? And which helped, Google Meet, Zoom to add on this feature. Any guess?
Their background, I guess.
Yeah. So some people did not have a background which did not want to show. Yeah. So background of their house, background of their people surrounding them. So therefore, what this virtual platform did, they came up with backgrounds and they empowered people to use their background also if they want to. Right. And then what happened when they came up with this attribute, it became very blurred. When you are using the background, the face, and these are not very, very salient. Then they started changing, improving, modifying things. So straight, if you say, Tarang, tell me why you don't come online. So he may be little, reluctant. He may not be very comfortable to answer. So some of the situation when you are not comfortable to answer, or when I want to figure out the subconscious layer of your mind, I go for the indirect technique. Fine, good. Now we will go for the next technique, which is called Zaltman metaphor elicitation technique is done. I will go for the next technique, which is to do with your laddering technique, mean and chain. So let me use the whiteboard. Allow me a minute. Share whiteboard. Okay. This is again little complicated, but still then I should share with you. So where is my pen? So this is called laddering technique or mean and chain. So what does it mean? It means when a consumer buys, so consumer A and consumer B, okay? So let us say they are buying, a perfume, let us say, or maybe they are enrolling themselves for an MBA degree, let us say. It can be anything, not a problem. So the reason why consumer A buys and B buys also is not known to them sometimes. So some may be telling, I do a MBA because I want to get a good job. Not necessarily. There is something else which he is not consciously aware, but the subconscious part of the brain has influenced him to do this. Correct? He himself may not know. So, as a researcher, I would like to know the reason consumer A buys vis-a-vis consumer B. So So what I do, I go for a laddering technique. So laddering technique, what it does, it will tell you, okay, tell me which are the MBA universities you went for. So he will say, something to do with IIMs, something to do with universities, or it has to do with IITs, but all which I wanted to do is the domestic, not the foreign degree. Then we will say, okay, of the three, which one you think are similar, which is different. So he will say these two are similar. This is not similar to the degrees given by IIM, IIT. So this is dropped. Then we will say out of these two, which one you went for another. So he says this one. Now on this, we will zero down. So what we will say? We will say why. So what are the features? First, we will say what are the attributes which made you select the IIM. He will say one is placement, then he will say the brand image, then he may say the quality, whatever. Then he may say the experience, the practical experience, whatever he says. Now, from this one was his, what did I say? Brand image. This one was, I'm forgetting myself. Quality, experience. What was this?
Placement.
So, placement, huh? Placement. Yeah, thank you. So I will pick up the first one, the placement. Then I will ask, let us say I'm interacting with Sayogita. Just a role play. Huh? So I will say, Sayogita, why is placement important for you? So she will give me an answer. This, if I do it now, Sayogita will be very alert, and she will be artificial, and then Sayogita may not be the right person to ask, right? So she did not go for a full-fledged MBA. She's already executive. So she went for a course in a different format. So just for the sake of the role play, I'm doing this, but this is not how you should do. You should try to go for the respondent who is a target audience, a person who has gone for an MBA from IIM full time, and then the person should answer me not where everybody is looking at her and listening. That does not happen. They will not answer, right? So just for a role play for you people to understand, I am doing this. So I will ask Sayogita, just role play karte hain, theek hai? Just feel free. So I will say, okay, Sayogita, why placement is important for you?
Yeah, because placement will offer me an opportunity to gain practical experience and use my existing knowledge and even grow professionally in terms
Okay,
of
so why?
practical
So
knowledge.
she has said three things. So I
Yeah.
will start with the first one, practical experience. So I will say, okay, Sayogita, why practical experience is important? Yes.
Yeah, theoretical, because theoretical is different, and when you apply that theory in the field, it's a different ball game many times.
No, but why is practical experience important?
Because if I want to grow, I will be doing practical. If I am good at practicals, then only I'll be able to grow, because everywhere otherwise I'll have to
Okay, why, Sayogita, growth is so important for you?
growth is important because I want nobody wants to stay at the same thing, knowledge wise or career wise or finances wise. You want to grow in life. You want to go forward.
Yeah. So what I will do is I will start asking her why, and because it is very artificial, so she is feeling little. I know I can understand, Sayogita, but at least you could volunteer. That's okay. So when she's saying some answer, I will capture it and then again say why. So laddering technique is I will try to take Sayogita and get her subconscious part of the brain through the why questions. It may so happen Sayogita may get little, blocked sometimes, or she may again say the same repetitive answers, right? So there are different ways how you can help her. So one method is I can, instead of doing only why, I can sometimes ask, Sayogita, what if the MBA degree would not be there? That means I am telling in the absence of it how life will be, is one technique. The second technique is I will say, okay, Sayogita, why people do MBA? So I will take it to a third person because Sayogita may be a little alert. and not getting answers, or not able to articulate, becomes conscious beyond the point, then I will move her to a third part, part, or the third person, and then she's very relaxed, because it's not Sayogita, it's the third person, it's the second technique. The third technique is regress. Regress means take her back. So Sayogita times when there was no MBA, don't you think people never had the career, or they did not grow, or they did not do well, is the third technique. Are you understanding what I'm trying to say? So therefore, there are many ways how you can make Sayogita open up and articulate. Also, there is another technique, reassurance. So I can ask, I will not give her answer. I will say, Sayogita, did you say this? Did you mean this? Assurance, rephrase. Then she has, you are understanding, she will not get choked. She will feel comfortable, yeah? And then she will have time to think, yeah? So are you understanding? So your body language, your contact, how much you are listening, how effective you are as a listener, are you rephrasing? Are you confirming? Are you regressing her? Are you bringing an element of absence of this? What will happen? Do you take it to a third person and trying to help her to answer? These are very sophisticated technique. It's not that easy to do. Getting me? So now, when I took her through all these methods, and for each of the attribute, I will go on doing this, it will be enormous pages of verbatims. Yeah, it will be a transcript which will run to few pages. Similarly, I will go through 20 to 30 respondents. Are you getting me? So the respondents will be people, why did they go for MBA on the attribute? So later on, when I do this, why it is called laddering technique, I will tell you. First of all, I am taking you through the ladder, which is all about why. Also, I am adding on techniques to help her to articulate. And then what will happen? All those transcript, I will take it using software. What I will do is, first I will try to differentiate the concrete attributes which Sayogita said. Concrete attribute and abstract attribute. So, like for example, in the previous, the attribute which she said is the reason why she went for MBA. Out of these, which are the concrete and which are the abstract? So naturally, the concrete will be, let us say, if she says the price, if she says the placement. So these are very concrete because she's bringing statistics. So she says, IIMs always have 100% placement, therefore I go for it. So it's a statistic she's bringing. Or let us say she says, IIMs always have, faculties who are all PhDs. Yeah. So these are it is not that Sayogita is saying that the faculties are PhD. It is a fact which she is stating. So it's therefore concrete attribute. How about abstract attribute? So if Sayogita says, IIM as a brand name, it's abstract. So for Sayogita, IIM is something which is very great. Maybe for Tarang, it's not IIM. Yeah, it's MBA which is important. Do it from anywhere. So it can be subjective. So things which are very objective, we call it as concrete, which are objective. But the abstract are very subjective, like experience. Yeah. So the practical thing which they give. So it's little subjective. So any attribute which you think is based on facts and is similar across everyone will be concrete. Anything which is abstract will be subjective. Then I will try to capture so I will see from the verbatim, from the pages at the aggregate level, how many people said that the attribute, this one, which is to do with 100% placement, therefore I took IM. This they are taking to a concrete, this is called a benefit, which is called functional benefit. This is called psychological benefit. So, like Sanyogita, many said, when I say many means it should not be one and two. So it should be, this is a subjective assessment of the researcher. So the researcher feels out of 30, if around 6 to 7 people have said it, that the link, that if there is 100% placement, it results in a good job, which is a functional benefit. If a reasonable number of people have said, we take that connection. If one or two have said, we do not consider that connection. So the connection between the concrete attribute, which is 100% placement, the resulting in a functional benefit, which is a good job. Here, good job means a job which pays you good amount is a functional benefit, and good number of people said it. Also, many people said, when there is a 100% placement, it results in an element of status. I feel so, I feel excited. I feel happy. It increases my status. My income level, my lifestyle would go up with a good package of salary, because 100% placement assures me of a good salary job. So it's a psychological benefit. You understand? It makes me feel confident, or places me in a different category. People will look at me, they will respect me. All these are psychological benefits. But when I say, when I study in IIM, which has 100% placement, it gives me a job with a particular salary bracket. So it's a functional benefit, it's a tangible benefit. Now, from this benefit or the consequence, it may result in end state. It may result in the end state. What is the end state? So I feel, the end state may be peace of mind. Yeah. So certain combinations of your consequence results in the end state, which is peace of mind. Correct? So you need to understand which combinations are resulting in the final goal, which is the end state. And as a brand manager, you will target to this particular state in your communication or in your design element. So instead of saying, IIMs give you better 100% placement, it has good quality faculty who have done PhD and good amount of research. If you say in your message, IIMs, if you get a degree, it is a place which can make you feel confident, and it gives you a peace of mind, because it gives you assurance of your career. That is something which will stick, which is the reason why people go for MBA. And you can differentiate from your competitor. Why? Because end state, which is peace of mind, is not silo. It has a link with the attributes and the consequence, and therefore the end state. And as a IIM, because you have all these combinations, which is resulting in the end state, a competitor directly cannot say, if you come to our institute, you will get a peace of mind. Why? This peace of mind is coming from a combination of attributes to consequence, combination of consequence to the end state. So this is little complex. It's not that easy. So, when the presidential election was done in America, the two candidates which were representing the presidential position, they said the attributes. I will come up with good migration policy. I will ensure that Americans get, the job. All these were attributes. Attribute combination results in your, consequence or benefits. Benefit resulted in we, the America, to be proud of. So which candidate results in the end state, which resonates with my subconscious mind? Actually, that is what I want. That person got the voting and won. So therefore, such type of, combinations are extremely beneficial when you go for electoral, you want to connect with them, or you want to design a communication wherein you want people to believe you, which is brand advertising or communication, or you want to do something with your crisis management, All these are elements where you can use this particular technique. So it's little complex. It's not that easy because you need to know where there is a direct relation, where there is an indirect relation, how I can weave in this relation in my communication. Would I make myself clear? Yeah. Would I make myself clear?
Yes.
Yes, no, कुछ तो आंसर आना
Yes,
चाहिए.
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So, okay. Just give me a minute. Let me show you. Okay, let me show you this. Maybe you will be able to relate. Are you able to see it?
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes,
here,
ma'am.
the product milk. So the company wanted people to accept milk, drink it, and have it as a part of the life, meaning having milk as much possible for the strength. So what they said, if they say, milk contains more of calcium, more of sugar-free, tastes well, freshness, it will not resonate. So what they did, they went for this technique and figured out from different customers or respondents, tell us what's the attribute of milk. So they said, milk is having more calcium, it is natural, it tastes well, it is refreshing. Those all attribute results in health. Health makes me feel better. If I feel better, I can do more things and I can cope up. That results in giving me more achievement. It increases my self-esteem. That was one route from a group of consumers. There was another group of consumer who said, calcium, natural and tasty results in health. Health makes me feel better. But the diversion was from here, look over here, from this, feel better, can do more. It said, I will look better. Yeah. And it will make me happy. There was another group which said, taste and this health, which results in socially I will be accepted because of which I will have a self-esteem. Now, as a brand communicator, you need to see this entire map. Which one should I take to design my communication? So this one, taste and this part does not resonate, is not that exciting. I can either take the route over here, this one, natural, a good taste, and calcium to health to feel better, can do achievement, self-esteem can be one way I can communicate, or I can go for health, feeling better, looking better, happiness. Yeah. So when I am going for my advertising, I can say the way you look at your finance for a sound financial future, you can also go for having milk, which will make your, health something which you can always feel confident about, make you happy, and your future health can be assured. So the way I am assuring the finance and the financial health in the future, I am saying if you want your health index to be something which will assure you, make you happy, increase your confidence, this is how you should be consuming milk. So milk with relating it with the future health index, the way you relate finance with the financial soundness or financial, you understand what I'm trying to say. So when you are gauging this and you say, milk has a lot of calcium, it is free from the natural, the artificial sugar, it is something to do with refreshing, it does not resonate. And even if it does, competitor will say, our taste is better than the other. Or they may say, our milk not only has calcium, has something else. So you are fighting at the attribute level. But it is always good that if you can pitch your communication at the end state and relate it to the come backward, relate it with the benefits and the attribute which results in the end state, it is very difficult for the competitor to have the same type of a message or position. Could I make myself clear? It's complex. It is not that
Madam,
easy.
please come again.
Ma'am, can you please repeat the last?
I said, if I'm also a brand which is to do with milk category, I will fight with the attribute. Okay, they have showed attribute A, B, let me go with attribute D. I am not connecting consumer at the end state, which is happiness, which is self-esteem. Actually, we are having a product to reach to the end state. You know, I am using fair and lovely not to look fair. I am using fair and lovely not for fairness. I'm using it, it helps me in increasing my confidence. It helps me in making a difference, that I am different in terms of my looks, my confidence, my attire, or my status or whatever. So that's the end state. But yes, it is because of the attribute which it has as a fairness screen. So as a communicator, brand communicator, connect to the end state and link it backward to the benefits and the attributes for which you are able to reach to that end state. Could you get me? It's not that easy, I agree, but that's what it is. So just say, for example, I will give you a very quick example. Let us say I am a presidential or a chief minister or a prime minister candidate. Yeah. And I would like to connect with my audience, right? So let's say I would like to connect with people from the east, people from the north, west, south, center. So do you think I can connect with them in the same way? No, each one has their own way of looking at the leader. So what I will do, I will go to north and try to figure out what is that you look in the leader. What attributes you see? Why do you see such attributes? What are the benefits you get? If you get this benefit, what is that which ultimately comes at the end state? So when I am going through why question, unconsciously or subconsciously or indirectly, I can get their voice and their mindset. Directly, if I say, "Arey, batao, will you go for Modi or will you go for the Gandhi Parivar?" No, no, these, that. You will talk at the attribute level. You will never be able to talk at the end state level. Most of the consumers or the respondents on the electorate. So if I can connect at that end state, then my entire communication design, everything will be resonated. Yeah, I will not be bombarding them with lot of, we did this, we did this, we did, not required. Yeah, so the communication will be effective. You need not to be more repetitive, which is extremely boring, and there will be a wear out, and you stand so different. Because okay, these attribute combination results in these benefit combination results in the end state. Actually, this is what people want, the voters want. Are you understanding what I'm trying to say? Yeah. Yeah. So any questions? Sandeep, any question? Arpit, Gautam?
No, ma'am, it's
Okay.
fine.
Chalo, theek hai. So now it is 11:40. We can go for a break. Then we will resume. Now what I will do, I will go for the neuroscience, which is about the device. So through the PPT, I will share some of the inputs of neuroscience, and then we will go for discussing some specific situations where you will be applying research, what input you get, what benefits you get, and then we will try to figure out, are there any other techniques, and then we will wind up the course. Okay,
Ma'am,
so
if
let's
it's
go
okay,
for
can
a
you
15
share
minutes
the
break.
PPT with us?
Yeah,
Ma'am, if possible, can you share the
I
PPTs
will.
with
After
us?
the class, I will share the PPT to the person who is dealing with this, who will forward it to you people. Okay.
Ma'am, also the notes from the last class for the formulas and all
Yeah,
for
previous
measuring
session.
customer experience.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. Yeah.
Yes.
So you need to give me some time because of the Diwali. I have to go out. So what I will do, give me some time. I will be before your exam. I will definitely be sending the slides. Not an issue. Yeah.
Next
So
week is
now
also
let us.
okay, ma'am. It's not
Uh-huh.
like that it's not like that you have to share today only after the class.
No,
Next
but you
week
never
also.
know. Now, when I have promised people may be
Yeah,
waiting, yeah, it is not
yeah.
good to make them wait. So I thought I will explicitly state it. So give me some time. So
अभी
that
देंगे
we
तो फिर
can,
एग्जाम के टाइम पे ही पढ़ेंगे वो.
चलो ठीक है. So now we will go for a break and then it's 11:40. So we will be back at 11:40. 15 minutes मतलब कितना? By 5 minutes to 12. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Thanks.
That in the previous session, what I said was about, different ways how you can capture the voice of the consumer or the subconscious mind of the consumer. Why was my emphasis more on the subconscious mind is, when you ask a consumer why he buys a particular thing, he may not be knowing the reason, but basically, emotion, subconscious brain, this influences consumer decision making more so in B2C context, and therefore you need to capture this part of the brain and you need to know the emotion, because see, I cannot express my emotions. What I can express is my, something which is very tangible. That is what I believe, what I can see, but I cannot say what I feel. Yeah. So therefore, we have been using indirect technique like Zaltman metaphor elicitation technique or mean end chain. So why I said mean end chain, from attributes you went to the functions, from functions you went to the end part of the entire chain. So it is called mean end chain. And why laddering? Because laddering will help you to question why, and using these two technique, whatever has been articulated by the consumer, it helps you to sketch a map the way you saw in case of the milk, that how attributes like calcium, natural sugar, vitamins, they result in making you healthy. How healthy makes you feel so very confident, and that makes you feel happy. So that's the map. And this map does not come with one consumer. It is based on aggregate level what consumers said and what is the direct link, how many people said it. And if 1 2 people have said it, we don't use it as a link or as a element to be put it in the map. Now we will go for the next science, which is called neuroscience. So I would be sharing the PPT now. Are you able to see the PPT? So in neuroscience, we use a lot of mechanical device. The first one is called fMRI. So what it does, it tries to measure the blood flow to various parts of the brain. And therefore, your decisions which you take regarding a choice, a product, a service, a brand, a store, or advertising can be gauged based on the blood flow to that part of the brain. So let us say, which I will show you through the diagram, a particular part of the brain is to do with impulse buying. And let us say the color of the packaging resulted in the flow of the blood to that part of the brain, then I will go for an impulse buy. But let us say the packaging appeared to me not very approachable, little dull. It will not make the blood flow to that part of the brain, hence no impulse buy. So fMRI tries to capture it. Next is the EEC. So EEC is something which is put on the head and it tries to measure the electrical impulses emitted to the brain, and therefore you will have, there are now EEC device which are wireless or which are now in small, manageable size, and they are being used to measure the heart rate, the heartbeat, the head movement, the breathing, the blinking of the eyes, the body temperature. For example, let us say I am making a horror movie. So I want to know, will it make it really horror, full of horror, make people quite excited, full of anxiety? If it does, then the movie would capture a lot of audience and eyeballs. The next one is MEC. It tries again to measure the magnetic field which the brain is activated through the flow of the blood. And then we have TMC. So these are all very high-end mechanical devices used by the physicians. So let me caution you, before I go for neuroscience, you need to be very ethical. Yeah, you cannot use certain things forcefully. Second is, it may have an impact. So therefore you need to take a written consent. You cannot use it on the children without their knowledge, which was done by a lot of FMCG companies and beverage companies. So a lot of MNC companies, when they use neuroscience and they were asked, why did you do what you did? They said, we were not knowing about it, or we did not use it. So they were very reluctant to be transparent. So sometimes the company, they do use it, but it's not ethical. And another important caveat, whenever you are using a mechanical device, do not depend on it in silo. It should be complemented or supplemented with other type of methods. So therefore, these are some caution and caveats which I wanted to declare it right, upright, right? Yeah. So Sayogita, you want to say something?
Ma'am, I just want to ask that, this kind of mapping, it is done in form of a study. How do they do it? I mean, how do they do it on the customer or consumer? How do they do it?
Sure. Let me first explain the concept and then I will tell you how do they navigate it. Okay. So the next one is facial coding. So they will try to measure at a micro level your expressions, your emotions, whether you're happy, you are surprised, you are delighted, disgusted, sad, angry. Each minute detail, second by second, they can capture it. So you can understand what is your expression for an advertisement which is run. So I can use this device and capture your reaction. But if I ask Sayogita, tell me, when you see this advertisement, what is your emotion? How do you feel? She will not be able to say. And even if she says, it will be said at the aggregate level. Okay, the advertisement was good or it was boring. But which part she will not be able to. So device will help you. Then next are galvanic skin response, or you can go for positron emission tomographics. So these are some of the devices. You also, this is a very used method, highly used, which is eye tracking. This is mostly used because it's very easy. You have a specs which you will be asked to wear, and then it will capture the heat map which is generated in certain areas. So let us say this is a particular product. I think I'm able to show you. So which part of the product my eye gazed, how long did it gaze? Did it go from here to here, right to left, left to right, top to down, down to up? Yeah. And it also tells which area I never saw. There was no gaze, there was no heat map. And these minute details will tell you which part of the packaging, which part of the message was able to capture the attention and which part did not. So it may so happen that a person looked at the model was very beautiful, handsome, whatever, but I did not see the brand name which was at the bottom end. There my eyes did not go. So therefore I need to figure out how are the gaze paths. We also use other biometric devices like galvanic skin response, heat rates, respirations, and body temperature. These are very sophisticated. And we also use very used method like implicit association measurements, wherein I will say, okay, tell me if you see a particular brand, let's say Dove, what comes to your mind, right? Or I may say, okay, if it is Nike, what comes to your mind? So we will try to gauge what people think, what are the words which comes very randomly, do they take a lot of time to articulate the words, what is their reaction time? So if they think, they ponder, then that means they are putting a very, huge amount of effort. But if it comes very fast, very quick, very, voluntarily, quickly, that means the association is very strong. So therefore, what Dove did, Dove wanted to understand how people describe themselves, how women define beauty. And it found out on Twitter that people were describing themselves who were not very good looking according to their standard, negative words. So negatively, they were saying, I'm fat, I'm ugly, I am black, in this way. So what Dove did, Dove ran an advertisement wherein defining beauty in different ways. So Dove for the first time said through its campaign that anything can be beautiful. It's not that if you're dark, you're not beautiful. So through its campaign, it tried to empower consumers, more so women, to think beauty means any type of your face, but you should feel beautiful. It's not the look, but it is the feel. So look over here how Dove, because it started, understanding the sentiments on the Twitter of people feeling, women feeling derogatory about their figure, their looks, their color. Dove changed the entire definition of beauty. So was Nike. So what Nike did, it tried to gauge the consumer and wanted to check from the normal consumers like you and me. So they said, look, we are not sports person, but we aspire to be. So therefore, Nike came up with different designs of footwear, not specifically to the sportswear. And in that way, it broadened its consumer base. That's another example. So there will be a number of examples you will see wherein a lot of marketing research and consumer insight helps you to design your marketing program. Now, if you can see this particular image, just look over here. So, Sanyogita, you asked me, madam, how it is done. So I will take your consent, I will take your permission, I will see it does not impact you, I will make things very clear, and I will mount this entire mechanical device on your head. Or I may ask you to wear a specs, whatever. So this entire device will capture all your reaction where the blood is flowing in your head, which will be seen on the monitor. So I can see on the monitor over here, right side down, if you can see, there are some red spots and there are some blue spots. Red spots are the area where it is igniting a trigger. Blue spots are the spots where it is not igniting the trigger. So that means when I am shown a model who is good looking, sleek, there is a red. But if there are models which are not able to connect, or there are stories which are not able to connect, those areas I am not, the flow of the blood is towards the blue, hence it is not igniting. Now, if you look at the left side top, you see over here, there are so many brands in my brain already. So if there are already brands in my brain, I was just, watching Big Boss, and all of a sudden it appeared to my mind. You can also see when they are using milk or they are using some air freshener, they have blackened it. So Amul, you will not figure out that brand name is not there. Possible that they are not sponsoring, so they don't want it. But even if they don't show me the name Amul, I can recognize it because it's there in my brain. So therefore, these are very important things to understand. And this is a recording of, a device wherein the individual is asked to go through the device. And then there may be a TV which will be mounted on top of it, and there will be some content which will be shown, and then it will be seen how the person use it. And from this, there are some dentists, they have taken a lot of input from such type of field. So what they did, this particular dentist, just give me a minute. So when you go for root canal, it's a very painful process, and also it takes a lot of time. So you are asked to keep your mouth open for a long period of time, which is very painful. And psychologically, the waiting time is always big. Even if you are waiting for 5 minutes, it appears it is 15 minutes. So therefore, what they did was, when your head is mounted in this way and the mouth is open, in order to reduce the psychological waiting time, they design their clinic in such a way that the TV will appear here in this position so that you will be able to see it when your head is up, not on the wall. So that's the way how they designed and made it so very, nice experience, that by the time the root canal happened, they did not know, oh, it happened so quickly. So how can you make the entire experience of consumer? All these type of inputs can help you. Now look over here, when you see this part of the brain, it talks about different parts, which is primitive brain, limbic brain, neocortical, or a rational brain. So let us say I am seeing a particular stimuli. Seeing that stimuli, my blood goes to the, rational part of the brain, which is this part of the brain. That means I will start analyzing, calculating, evaluating, logical application of my brain. Yeah, but if the stimuli is going to the limbic part of the brain, which is this part, I hope you're able to see my cursor. It says that it is all about emotion, it is all about nostalgia, attention, pleasure. So therefore a person will quickly go for impulse. So you need to understand which color, which design will make you feel that a particular part of the brain is getting ignited. Let me give you an example. A study was conducted to figure out the cover page of the magazine. So the cover page of the magazine edge was sharp, and it was again redesigned to have a very circular edge, which was not very sharp. So when this type of instrument was used, it was understood that the cover page, which was sharp edge, was seen to be much more on violence. Maybe this magazine is to do with action, violence, technology. But when it had a circular edge which was smooth, they thought that this is more to do with entertainment and pleasure and things like that. So how do you perceive the cover, the design, the logo, color? All these can be gauged through this mechanical device. Now look over here, this part of the brain, our reptile brain, if you can ignite that as a brand manager, you are sure to result in impulse buying. Meaning, if a person enters into the retail store and your visual merchandising, your point of purchase display was so attractive that there was a trigger in the reptical part of the brain, it results in impulse buying, meaning immediate gratifications. But if it does not, then people will not go for impulse buying. So you need to understand, because the reptile is something which makes us go for system one, not system. Meaning I should be more quick in my decision making, heuristics, shortcut, and not a very analytical, logical, elaborate decision making. So if you want people to quickly take decision on heuristic, not to use a lot of logic, try to capture their reptile brain. Yeah. So that's what all neuroscience is about. I will go for another example. I think you people must be aware of the blind test. Are you aware of Pepsi and Coca-Cola? Were you aware of it? So what happened? People were given two glass of soft drink. One was Pepsi, one was Cola, without any brand name. And they were asked to drink. And when they drink, they gave importance to Pepsi. But when the name Coca-Cola was attached to it, they said, no, no, we like this brand and this is more tasty. It's all about the perception. When brand name comes, they associate with American culture, the nostalgia, the thrill. And when there is no brand name, it's the product which gives you the preference. So therefore, try to understand the power of the brain, how much it can influence your decision making. Yeah. Any questions? Now, Sayogita, let's say I had carried this study on our campus with my students. So what I did was I used these specs. So to few students, they were not knowing anything. I took their permission and I asked them to wear the specs and enter into the small retail store we have over here, a grocery store. And before that, we have arranged the Maggie packets in different, somewhere the Maggie packets were very prominent, somewhere they were at the back, in that positions. So now when these students were going, they were not knowing anything, they were just roaming around. In our laptop, where the eye was gazing was being captured in the laptop. Yeah, and we could figure out that Maggie, which was placed at the eye contact level, or where it was very prominent and salient, their eyes were catching, Maggie, whereas top Raman, which was kept at a very unsalient position, people missed it. So how much important is the POP? You can notice it. Then what we do to the next group of consumer, we again rearrange the positioning of the packaging, and we figured out that top Raymond was noticed. So as a brand manager, you can use this to understand what people gauge. Now come to the online. So, but of course, these are very costly gadgets, Sayogita. So therefore, that time now I was able to negotiate to tell them, just give us free, let's see, try and figure it out. In case we can afford it, maybe we will go for, raising the invoice. Now, what you can do for online is you can have I can ask maybe Anil to wear the specs and do the shopping. Now, when he will be doing shopping online, it will record that is it that Anil saw the left part more than the right part, which is the product, right is the text. Is it that Anil's eye gazed for a long time on the ingredients? Is it that Anil was feeling a lot of discomfort in product discovery through the video, which was there in the landing page? Is it that Anil was, trying to go for a very quick gaze, go from A to B to B to C, C to D? In that way, it was gazing, and how many seconds the eyes was remaining on each of these stimuli. So in that way, I can take it for Anil, I can take it for Sandeep, I can take it for somebody who is from, Dubai or some such type of countries wherein people are, they read left to right, not right to left. So therefore, I need to know what type of color. So Coca-Cola and many of the companies, multinational, their websites are dynamic depending on the mood, the emotion, the rationality, meaning the nationality, meaning which nation they belong to. They use different colors. Like for example, Pakistan, maybe green would be exciting. If it's to do with thrill and America, it's red, which is exciting. So you need to see how you can go for web design, colors, font size, which can make a difference. And my last example would be a soup company. So what this soup company did, it came up with a package, and it figured out this packet was not trying to incite or trigger impulse buying. They checked with the consumer, they asked them, but the consumers were not able to articulate why they were not getting connect with the packaging. So what they did, they went for a study, but the study was supplemented with the interview. So what they did, they went to their home with the permission and tried to take some interviews, and also with the permission, they asked these people who visited the malls, meaning the retail stores physically, while they were going to the to the soup racks, they were asked to wear the specs, yeah, so which was a device to capture their eye tracking. Now this device and the interview, when taken together, brought out a lot of insight, and you will be very, very amazed to know that, the font size made a difference. Some font size were cool, some font size was not. Then where are you writing the brand name? Is it at the top, at the bottom? Yeah. And then what is the bowl you are using? Is the bowl which is very traditional steel bowl, or is it a bowl which has a very different type of a look? Then the steam which is coming from the soup, yeah, the imagery, that made a huge difference. Also, they found out that when they were using a steel big spoon on the packaging, people were not getting the connect, and it felt that it was unnecessary. So they removed the spoon from. So therefore, when you go for such type of, gauging of the subconscious mind, I don't think so anybody would be able to say that no, spoon is not good, that is not good. How could they know? Because when people were looking at the spoon, that flow of the part of the brain was not igniting the impulse, excitement, and pleasure. So therefore, these are ways how you can really use neuroscience, but with caution and supplementing it with other methods. Yeah, any questions? Yeah. Okay, so now I will go to the next part of the discussion, which I had told you. This is to do with the situation. Just a minute. Yeah. So now,
Sorry, ma'am.
yeah, please go ahead.
Ma'am, just wanted to ask, is it only limited to the product industry or is it also applicable in the service industry?
Everywhere, service industry, product industry, experience industry, manufacturing, FMCG, every industry, provided you can afford it.
So there are certain firms who provide the assistance in doing this type of market
Yes,
research.
yes, there are some companies, Nielsen, even you have neuroscience dedicated companies which goes for providing, but it is very expensive. Yeah, all cannot afford it. You need to have expertise. There has to be team. It's not only marketing people who can help you, nor research. There has to be people from the, from the medical background and all those combinations. Yeah. I'm just going to the chat. Is there any message? No. Yeah. So I would be sharing with you. I hope, just a minute. I hope you are able to see. Yeah, are you able to read this? May I request all of you
Yes.
to this? Meaning, we did a research and we have brought every insight onto the table. So from this insight, you have to take a managerial decision, because if you do a lot of research and you are getting little insight, but you are not putting it into action, then it makes no sense. So please read it. This is what I have brought to the table for you people to take a decision. Tell me what will be your decision. So all of you take time to read, 2 minutes. All of you have read it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So what it is about a restaurant. In this restaurant, they are not being able to get satisfied customer because of the lack of services which they have given or provided. So customer experience is not very good. They have done a survey and they have come up with all these numbers. So the company now wants to invest around 40 millions in its store to generate or to get back to the excellent customer service that across the customers who go to that restaurant. Now, the company's revenue is given, the number of stores are given, and the typical figure and facts of the customers are also written down. So, we have essentially three types of customer, which is unsatisfied, satisfied, and highly satisfied. So, these are three categories of customers. Each of the category of customers, they differ in terms of number of visits. So if a customer is highly satisfied, it is 7.2 average ticket size. If the customer is unsatisfied, the ticket size is 3.88. And if the customer is belonging to satisfied category, the average customer life is 4.4. May I know from this scenario, can you decode for me this particular PPT?
Sorry, ma'am, can you
Ma'am,
please
can you
repeat?
repeat the question?
Yeah,
I
I
am
can.
saying from
Something.
this particular slide, will you be able to decode for me this particular slide? What do you interpret? Okay, let me help you. My question is, whom should the company target? Because company has limited resource, it cannot target each and every customer. So whom should on priority the company should target? On
The
priority.
unsatisfied customers they should be targeting first.
Okay, some say highly satisfied. Sandeep, what is your take? Because you have raised your
To
hand and
Yeah,
then
convert them into
satisfied customers. They should target only the
satisfied.
For
How
me,
satisfied.
about
satisfied.
Taram?
For me,
Ma'am,
also
it
satisfied.
should be
Satisfied.
unsatisfied customer. So one of the things what I'm
Unsatisfied.
able to
Okay.
interpret is
How about Anil?
Unsatisfied, madam. Unsatisfied
Unsatisfied.
customer.
So one, two said highly satisfied, some said satisfied, and few said unsatisfied. So let us start with the ones who said highly satisfied. Why will you target them? Those who said highly satisfied. Yeah. May I know? Those who said highly satisfied, please tell me why did you say highly satisfied? No answer.
Ma'am, actually, I want to add
Ma'am,
something.
probably, I say it so that because these are people who are already giving him that kind of business.
Correct.
And if he maintains to keep them happy, his business will prosper only. So a lot of times it's important to appreciate who's delivering more and who's already on the good side.
Okay, okay. Yeah. And those who said, yes, Arpita and then Amit. Yeah, Arpita, what do you want to say?
Same, ma'am, like highly satisfied. Many of the companies, like while working in another company, we always focus for customer retention. So if we already focus for the highly satisfied, that customer retention part also gets lesser down. So we don't have to put, extra effort or extra marketing thing because they're already satisfied with our thing. So even I feel that the company should focus for initially for the highly satisfied and then for the new, creating the new consumer or the customer thing.
How about, yes, Sandeep and then Amit?
Yeah, madam, actually, I said satisfied customer because if you focus on satisfied customer, they will move to a highly satisfied customer. Their
Okay.
frequency also will increase.
Okay.
Ticket size also may increase. So, because instead of focusing on unsatisfied, it is better to focus on satisfied and move them to satisfied, highly
Okay.
satisfied.
Correct. Amit, what is your take?
The average customer life, which is 8.3 in the highly satisfied customer. So they will create the brand awareness as in the word of mouth. And of course, the retention rate is there. So they will definitely come. But my take is on the unsatisfied customer, wherein I can clearly see the average ticket size 3.8, which we should tap, right? Because when they will convert, then definitely we already have highly satisfied, which is already satisfied. But if we are able to convert, then we will be able to churn that revenue which we need in order to tap the 3,000 restaurants which we have.
Okay, okay. Amit, sorry, Niloper.
Ma'am, I go with the satisfied customer because they are already satisfied with the products and all those things. So if company doesn't have too much of money bandwidth over there, so if I will pay and advertise some amount of money, then they can convert it to the highly satisfied thing. So that's why I go with the satisfied customer.
How about Tarang?
Ma'am, I'll go with the unsatisfied customer. Reason is average customer life is 1.1 years, where compared to highly satisfied and satisfied. So if I get a chance to give a better service and increase that average customer life plus average ticket size also, it's very close to a typical customer right now. If I can get it increased, so overall it will yield a better revenue for me. So that's why this will be my TG.
Arpita. Okay, she's not there. Alok?
Ma'am?
Hello.
Yeah, Alok, go ahead.
Yeah, ma'am, actually, I'll go with the all three categories randomly because I need to maintain. Yes, first we need to maintain the highly certified customer range so that we can maintain the business as well.
Okay.
And just to go ahead with the certified to next level, so we should invest them also, and we should understand there are some lackings between certified and highly certified. There may be some criteria, there may be some customers insights, so we need to understand them, and so that we can go with for the next level. And definitely uncertified customer ratio is also very good here. We can
Okay,
just see
fine, fine.
3.9.
I've
we
understood.
can,
Okay, what about
yeah.
Mayank?
Ma'am, my point was exactly similar to what Alok ji. I will focus on
Go for
all three of them.
randomly.
Yeah, but I would make sure that highly satisfied are in that level, and the unsatisfied and satisfied
Sure,
move
so
on
you
to
are
the
aiming
other
at all
level.
the threes. Okay, finally,
Exactly.
Arpita, if you are there.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, I'll focus more on unsatisfied, but I won't
Okay,
leave the
Mayank,
other
you
two
said
as
you
well.
will focus
Trying
all the
to.
three, but priority wise, you will focus little more on high,
Yeah.
then the other two will be equal focus. Okay, Arpita.
Ma'am, obviously, last time also I said I will like the company should obviously work on the satisfied and highly satisfied both, because there the expenditure will be less. But yes, parallelly, it is very much necessary the customer retention. What I said, that is also very much, because it has been known that sometimes unsatisfied customer can affect very badly on the brand part. So it is always should be exercised by the company. They should keep trying to retain the unsatisfied customer, and they can convert into satisfied by giving them or understanding their problem, like why they are unsatisfied with the service or the product.
Okay, so look
So
over here.
both parallelly have to go.
Sure. So I said the gentleman who is running the restaurant wants to make an investment. And why is this investment? So that he is able to nurture the service and make people who are not satisfied or satisfied still have the same experience. Either if not satisfied, will have satisfaction. If highly satisfied, will continue to have satisfaction. Now the company wants to invest this much. So when the company wants to invest, it will also try to figure out the return on investment or not. Yeah. So can I be so whimsical, so random that I will focus on everyone? What did I say? On priority, I will see if I am able to convert, let us say, one unsatisfied to satisfied, vis-a-vis one satisfied to highly satisfied. Who will give me more return? Did you get me what I'm saying?
Yes, yes, yes.
First, try to understand if I am trying to convert, let us say, one from unsatisfied to satisfied or satisfied to highly satisfied, where will I get more return with less effort?
Satisfied to highly satisfied.
Second
Why?
one.
Because
Highly
if you
satisfied.
look
They're
at the
already
numbers
satisfied.
they say,
Yeah.
multiply that with the average ticket size, you will get a number, multiply that with 12, annually you will get the number. So what you will do, please all of you, if you have calculator, 3.9 into 3.88 into 12, vis-a-vis 4.3 into 4.06 into 12, please make those numbers. 7.2 into 4.42 into 12. So you will get three numbers. Yeah. If you can differentiate the number of satisfied from unsatisfied, vis-a-vis highly satisfied to satisfied, where will be the number more? Did you understand what I said? Sure. Tell
From
me.
unsatisfied to satisfied.
Tell me. 3.9
Highly
into
satisfied.
3.88 into 12. Kitna hai? Use the calculator and tell me.
And 16.64.
Huh?
16.64.
No,
Multiply by
into
12, right?
12, 181.5.
Okay, sorry.
181.5.
Simple
181.5.
Yeah. So 4.3 into 4.06 into 12, kitna hai?
209. 209.
And if you go for 7.2 into 4.42 into 12,
381.
huh?
381. 381.
Now you deduct 209 minus 181, kitna ho raha hai?
28.
And if you deduct 381 minus 209,
172.
तो उसका मतलब क्या है? What is the meaning of these numbers?
Satisfied has to be focused.
That is,
No. What is
But
the
actually,
meaning in
ma'am, if we
percentage of
convert
number?
but
an
ma'am, convert
unsatisfied
क्या
unsatisfied
है?
to
customer
satisfied.
172 क्या है? What is it?
is value,
Additional revenue.
additional credit. Ma'am,
Additional
if we
effort.
convert
Revenue
an
which you
Revenue.
will
Effort.
get by
exactly
converting one unsatisfied to
unsatisfied into
satisfied
satisfied,
will be 28. The revenue which you will get by
exactly.
converting satisfied to highly satisfied is 172. You understand the jump?
Yes,
Only
ma'am.
with one.
Yes, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
But
है
ma'am,
ना?
but ma'am, unsatisfied to highly satisfied, the gap is 200.
What 200?
381 minus 181.
380. No, no, no. That is not what you will do. Not that.
Unsatisfied to highly
Unsatisfied
satisfied.
cannot immediately jump to highly satisfied.
Okay,
True,
okay,
true,
okay.
true.
Unsatisfied will first be made to be satisfied, then highly satisfied, na?
Yes,
Yes,
exactly.
Okay.
yes.
It's not a numbers. Yes, yes,
So
yes.
qualitatively also, if you are trying to a crying child who is crying, crying and throwing all tantrums, vis-a-vis a calm child but unhappy, vis-a-vis a highly happy child, think of 3 child of yours whom it is easy to tackle with less effort.
Yeah,
Understood?
yeah.
So a person who is unsatisfied has to first be converted with some effort to satisfied, then some more effort to highly satisfied. So jump cannot be from unsatisfied to highly satisfied with little bit of a lollipop. It never happens like that. So a marketer has limited funds, needs return on investment, and has to justify, yes, look, I have used the fund, I could convert satisfied, I justify my return on investment, give me more fund, now I will be targeting to unsatisfied. समझ में आ रहा है? What are you understanding what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So probably people who said we will go for all the three, we will randomly pick somebody, such whimsical efforts will not help. Even if you have done the research, all the insights are on your table, but you are not able to make a plan. Are you getting me? There are 3 points.
Yes, ma'am.
Do research, convert this research into insight, put it on the table of the brand manager, which I did. Now the brand manager, not the Nielsen, will not help you to take the call. It is you as a brand manager to take the call on the report which Nielsen has produced as a research company. So Sayogita told me, madam, who will do this research? There are many firms to do the research, no problem. They did the research, gave you the report. So Sayogita, you are confused with the input of the report and you are not able to take the decision. And then what you will do? You will blame the marketing research inputs. Achhi faltu ka input hai, all farce. These are bullshits. Are you getting me? So first of all, if your research is wrong, the inputs will be wrong. If the inputs are right, but you are not able to take action, everything will fall. Hence, appropriate research design. From there, try to, because na kya hota hai, many of the research firms, they will give you exciting dashboards and report and take money from you. Take
Yes.
all the money they can because they are Nielsen. You will not pay me money, but you will pay Nielsen money. You will pay BCG money, not to me.
Yes.
They are big brands. Then they are also equally smart. They will give me some report, but are those report of any value? So as a brand manager, you may not go to the field and collect the data, but you need to know what should be my research design. Yeah. Otherwise, he will fudge the data and give it to you. And you will not know. And let us say they did not fudge, they give you the authentic data, but you are not able to take action or decision. Somebody said randomly we will pick anybody. Is it a lottery? Research is very scientific. It has to be systematic. And marketing is all about the right decision with information which will help you. Like yesterday, after the class, one of the participants came and told me, madam, there is a competition. This is what it is. Please tell me what should be my decision. I said, where is the case? Where are the case facts? Where is the data? How are you asking me to give an answer? I need to check the data, the situation, the context. It is not I sit, make a dhyan and give you some suggestion. Yeah. So here what did I say? Go with quality, go with quantity. Immediate on priority should be the one wherein with little effort I get huge return. Man,
Yes.
इसको भी कर दूंगा, उसको भी कर दूंगा, उसको भी कर दूंगा. I will satisfy my child, my wife, my mother-in-law. No, priority. Okay, are
Yes,
you
ma'am.
understanding? So,
Yes,
if
ma'am.
somebody said, Madam, we should focus on highly satisfied. Okay, for a minute, let us see his suggestion. Those who are highly satisfied, or kitna satisfy karoge? How much more will you satisfy? And let me tell you, beyond a point, how much visit they will make to come to your retail store to buy, there is a threshold. मतलब मान लो Mayank is extremely happy with my class for a while. अब कितना input उसको दूं to make him still more happy? He has a threshold. He cannot take it. बदतमीजी होगी. But let us say Sayogita feels, ठीक है, I'm happy, but if you can share me the slide, I will be more happy. So if sharing the slide makes Sayogita little more happy so that she can do well in the exam, I will go for her, na? And let us take somebody else. He has not attended the class and unhappy. So usko effort dana meaning on a priority quickly with less effort. Are you understanding? So companies, what they do, giving a straight answer is not to be done. First of all, you need to understand what is the objective. Every time ask this question, what is the objective? Is the objective that the company wants a return on investment? Yes, it is, because the investment is done. Yeah, is the objective, because every company has a short term, long term, mid term objective. ऐसा नहीं कि we will not pay attention to the unsatisfied. Particularly in the social world, they will be putting all sorts of bad word of mouth. Yeah. So somebody said, Madam, if we can leverage highly satisfied customer to speak well about this restaurant, do you think if I have gone to the restaurant, I was mistreated, badly treated, I had to wait, the food was not good, and Mayank said, no, my experience was very good, I will be satisfied. It will be sufficient. Do you think?
Ma'am, but the highly satisfied customers will bring a lot of referral business as well,
That's
right?
a different thing. They will bring referral from the new customer, not from the customer who are dissatisfied.
Yeah, I'm talking about the highly satisfied.
Yes, so highly satisfied can be leveraged to bring new customer जिन्होंने खाता खुला नहीं, those who have no business, no transaction, have not started in my restaurant. So maybe they will bring Sanjil. Sanjil, you have not attended madam's class. Mayank will say, you should attend. But if Mayank goes and talks to Arpita, Arpita will say, don't, मुझे पाठ मत पढ़ाओ, don't suggest it. I have attended. Are you understanding what I'm trying to say? So you
Yes.
need to understand where should you plant or leverage your highly satisfied customer for a new one or the one who is already dissatisfied. So he will know that this Mayank has been paid to speak positive and not believe.
Ma'am, one thing actually, for the numerical part, it's okay. So we should go with the satisfied to highly satisfied. But for the survey part, like where we need to have the exact feedback about the qualities of the restaurants, what exactly we are successfully providing to the customer so that they are highly feeling themselves as a highly satisfied. We need to understand about that qualities also, that the good parts also, so that we can replicate the same with the other two categories also. So if we talk about the numerically, it's okay. Then we should go for the highly revenue. But we cannot just do we think so? Like we should just be continue with the highly satisfied without spending a amount on this particular category, because we have to make them loyal. We have to make them delight. We have to make them so that they can be with us for a long time. So in this part, actually, what you will just put your inputs.
Are you done?
Yes, yes.
Now I will answer. You said that, madam, those who are unsatisfied with our quality, with our service, whatever, we need to know and address it. Have I rephrased
No,
it?
no. Who are highly satisfied. We need to understand why they are highly satisfied.
Whatever, whether highly satisfied or unsatisfied, we need to understand the why.
Yes.
Correct. To understand why this particular insight or report is not sufficient. So I will ask to Nixon or whoever did the survey to give me another report on the why aspect, which is attitudinal study. Did you get me?
Okay. It was not for the
from
revenue
the
generation.
attitudinal study, I can know, unsatisfied customers are unsatisfied not because of our product, but because of our behavior. Change the behavior of your staff or your employee, train them a little bit, and then they will be satisfied. But I can understand that unsatisfied customer are unsatisfied because of the product per se. I need to work hard. It will take a lot of time to change the product. Are you understanding what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. So what you said makes sense. But sir, that was not the objective of this report. Therefore, I said, you should always know the objective. What is your objective? No matter whatever decisions you take now, you should know the objective. Let us say your objective is, we need to know where should we improve, which attribute we should improve. Yeah. Or is there a scope to come up with some new attributes? Those are attitude surveys wherein the approach will be very different. So I'm not teaching that.
Yeah, got it, ma'am. As per the
Yeah.
objective, it will be differ. Yeah, got it.
So here what I'm saying, I want to invest. Please tell me which one will be my segment. Yeah. So should my unsatisfied customer be the segment to whom I should target? Should it be satisfied or highly satisfied? That was my limited, very focused concern or objective. Got it?
Right, ma'am.
Yeah. So you can go for many types of, insight, but it all depends upon your objective. So, Manlo, for example, let us say I would like to carry an attitude on different types of mobile. Why is that people are giving more preference to Chinese mobile over Samsung and Apple, right? Why? Because my objective is, can I do something with my brand of mobile so that people start preferring my mobile? Then what I will do? I will go for a survey, try to understand the attributes, the quality for which they are trying to prefer Chinese mobile over my mobile. So my approach will be different, my research will be different, and my marketing actions will be different. So it will be an attitudinal research input. Understood?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yeah.
How do you've done the research with the objective, but how does one know how authentic or how correct is that research? Because a lot of times, say in a restaurant, when someone comes and says, how's the food? If we don't like the food, still we say, ठीक है, या अच्छा है. I don't think that ever we say कि खाना अच्छा नहीं है, या तो ये अच्छा था, ये खराब है.
Correct.
How do you then know that what you measured is correct and worth relying on?
Okay. So like for example, if I ask whoever said this just now asked, so if I say, अच्छा बताओ class कैसा गया? Yeah, it's a very, very unprofessional way of questioning. So what is your research? How you do research? How you collect information? How do you utilize that information is extremely important. That's a good question. So let me just take you through that particular question. So he said, how do we know whether our research is giving us, authentic information, data or inputs? So first of all, Nasser, please answer to yourself, why are you doing research? Just for the sake of it, or you are serious about it? So if you are serious about something, you will be systematic and structured. The more systematic, structured, prepared you are, the less will be the error. Number one. Number two, what will be the outcome of the research? What you want to do from this research? So if you say no, the outcome would be, will it help in understanding the what? Will it help in understanding the why? So this will help you in designing the way you will carry the research. That's extremely important. So let us say I want why, but you are doing a survey. Let us say I want to know what, you are going for experiment. You need to know, for my objective, is my research design appropriate? If it is wrong, then you will be misguided. Next, when you are approaching the respondents, it has not to have any error, meaning your TG is female, you are conducting it on male. Your TG is urban, you are conducting on rural. Yeah, because it is convenient for you, because you can approach them, because you know them, there is error. So if your respondent, your unit of analysis is not properly selected, is not having the characteristics of the TG, meaning target group, it is wrong. Next, why will the respondent answer you? Q? Why will Nilopal answer me? What will he get by answering to my survey or participating in such such type of satisfaction survey, attitude survey, research? What will he get? He will not get anything. So why should he answer? So he will answer in a casual way, or he will falsely answer it, or he will think, chalo no, ye kya hai, jab bhi answer karte hai, no result. So Sayogita will say, I always give good marks, bad marks, but the instructor is same, the way they teach is same, no improvement. Why will I answer? I will not. So if the respondent knows their responsibility and they are told how their input or answer can help, they will answer. So for example, if I say, Sayogita, if you give your input, it will help us in designing the product. Once I design the product, I will connect with Sayogita and say, Sayogita, this was your input for which the product has been now redesigned. That means I'm connecting with the respondent. I'm acknowledging his input. I'm appreciating him. Sometimes I may make it public also based on her consent. If she says, okay, you can give my name, you can address me socially, I will appreciate her. Then she will tell it seriously. If she feels कुछ भी नहीं, जब भी देखो मैडम खाली सर्वे लेते रहती है, will she answer? Now, the way she collects the data, let me tell you one example. If it is very lengthy, if I am standing in front of you and telling Sayogita, fill up the feedback, please, she will be very uncomfortable, right? And if I say, Sayogita, fill it up of 20-page questionnaire, yeah, or if the wordings are too complicated, or I tell you, do it in 1 second. The method in which you are collecting the data is extremely important. So therefore, all these things have to be kept in mind to make your input or your insight worthy. Otherwise, it is just some nuisance which you are doing, a farce, which will not give you any scientific results. Yeah. So therefore, why you are doing research? What is the outcome? Align it with the research design. Kindly appreciate the respondent. Make them clear how their input will help you. Once you include those input to the design, acknowledge it so that they know it and conduct it in a systematic way using different methods at different points of time. For example, you said, madam, you go to the restaurant and ask him कि खाना कैसा लगा, डोसा अच्छा लगा, ठीक ही है. आपने ठीक ही है बोला, लेकिन आपका body language is showing something else. Yeah, so it's not only what you say, how you appear at different points. Not directly, did you like the dosa? There are many indirect methods of capturing how was your feeling for the dosa. Yeah, so therefore a combination of the method is extremely important. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, any other questions? Please feel free to question. Even if you think it is not a relevant question or I may appear stupid, but please ask so that whatever you have can get it clarified. Yeah.
Ma'am, is it mandatory the survivor has to be from the same industry, or he or she can be from the other industry?
The researcher?
Yeah, researcher.
No, researcher has to have a background, maybe background of, the subject matter, like maybe from consumer insight, consumer behavior, psychology, sociology, if you're going for ethnographic study, anthropology, if you're going for neuroscience, you need to have the expertise of the subject matter. Yeah. Otherwise, you will not be able to give the insight. Sandeep, I think he asked me this question. So, Sandeep, let us say Sayogita and somebody else goes and gets the interview done. Do you think both of them will be able to do it the same? Maybe Sayogita will be doing better. Maybe Sayogita does not have a background, hence she is not able to put the question. Or Sayogita appears to be very intimidating. I'm not comfortable. So it depends on your expertise, your experience about capturing the data, information, and question. It requires expertise. Yeah. So therefore, Nasar, in research now you may have some agencies which are full-fledged. They give you a lot of service from different zoners. They can give you service on quantity data, they can give you service on quality data. There are some of the firms which are very specialized, they only deal with neuro. Or there are companies which only deal with, the online data, like for example, ethnographic, sentiment analysis, everything which is in the digital world. So you approach the right person to get the data. Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions?
Ma'am,
Ma'am,
can we have more questions like this so that we can prepare well for our exam?
That I will tell, don't be worried for your exam. Do you think if you do well in the exam, you will do well in your life? That's also important, but let's get things clear. Yeah. Sandeep, you are very exam oriented or what? Huh? It's good, not bad. You should have your CV, which should look good.
Priority, I think.
And we all are very worried about the
Yeah,
exams.
actually, madam, everyone is scared because of the last exam.
Acha, what happened in the last exam?
We messed up.
You messed
No,
up.
like now what
We are
happened
top
now?
from the bottom.
Huh?
Yeah,
We are top from the bottom.
yeah. So
Actually, we
no,
didn't have any prior experience of how this exam will go.
yes.
We had no clue.
Okay, so if you've asked
And
it,
it was
importance is to the question pattern. See, look, I will ask you some, one line question with alternative maybe, or maybe I will ask you, tell me what are the different, types of research, something of that sort. But I don't want you to mug it up. Maybe I will ask you, okay, if we have to go for understanding what from the research. So, do you think a survey will be better, exploratory research will be better, or experimental design will be better? So, which one? So, you put a tick on the options.
So it will be multiple answer questions.
Yeah, yeah. Either multiple or you maybe ask one liner. Like for example, I may say, okay, tell me what are the different sources of data. So you will write secondary source, primary source, pattern.
Ma'am, negative marking?
No, no, no.
Thank you.
And ma'am, what about the timing of the exams? Like how many questions? How many
Attend,
questions?
relax. I think you will leave before the time gets over. At least for my part.
Ma'am, actually earlier the same message has been given by
So Mayank,
professor
I would
also.
suggest you to report to the concerned person. I am only an instructor. So I will give
No,
my
ma'am.
questions. Yeah. So
I
if they
was
pull on all the question and give you, let's say 1 hour, that's not my area of jurisdiction. I have no
I was
control on it.
just saying that if we can get more of these questions, it helps us understand the topic better.
But it's
Exactly.
not
So
in my area, na. My area, consumer insight, my questions will be limited with enough कि एक बंदा पढ़ के आंसर करने के लिए
no, it's not about the exam.
हाँ,
It's not about the exam. It's just about understanding the topics
Exams
better.
preparations.
So
Yes, ma'am.
not exactly the exam, but understanding the topics better. So if you can get more of these kinds of questions, it will help
Which
us better
questions? Which
understand. Yeah,
questions? Can you
the
put?
question you asked, the restaurant questions, and all these this
Okay.
type of questions.
Okay. Okay.
Condition
Last
based
three more
question, ma'am.
questions.
Condition based.
No, better to
Or
provide
some
Very
sampling.
good. Mayank has
some
asked me a question. Mayank has given me an indication to do the questions. Like for example, let us say Mayank, I will give you a scenario and I will ask you what type of research should you do. For example, let us say Mayank, I will say that over the period of time, people have been going for a particular type of milk. Yeah. But then this milk is not suiting to their physiology. What type of research should I do? Let us say I have been selling milk to everyone, old, young, toddlers, yeah. But over the period of time, I get a feel from my sales team that our sales are not picking up because it is having a perception in the minds of consumer that drinking our milk is not suiting to their health. What type of research should I do?
Ma'am, I'll do a product-based research, maybe change a product or
No,
something.
should I go for a quantitative research? Should I go for a exploratory research? Should I go for a cause and effect research?
The third one.
The third one.
मतलब मैं क्या करूंगी, 4 लोगों को लाऊंगी, I will ask him, you drink the milk and see
What happens?
medically is it suiting him or not, yeah. So you
in
can
that
give
case, we
any
can go with
answer, no
explanatory.
problem, but defend your answer.
Okay.
You give any answer, no question, no wrong. But if you say survey, why did you say it? Defend your answer in 2 lines. If you say we should go for exploratory, why did you say so? Defend your answer in 2 lines. And if I'm saying 2 lines, it has to be 2 line. It cannot be 3rd line, which will be striked off. Are you getting me?
Okay. Yes.
So what I will do is I will make things a little more easy for you. For example, I will say, let us say my milk is being sold and it is not suiting to their health. What research should I do vis-a-vis? You know, I am selling my milk, but I would like to sell my milk to another city. And this milk has to be sold to youths only. What type of research should I do? So that's more to do with the description of my sample. What I said, it is female. So I need to know how many females are there, which age group of the female prefer it. So it will be survey. Whereas in the first case, maybe it may be exploratory. I need to know why milk is not suiting to their health. So it will be exploratory, right? So therefore, such type of application which will be easy for you, maybe question, or maybe I give you alternative, you have to put up T, or maybe I will give you match the following, or true or false. ऐसा कुछ दे दूंगी. Don't worry about the exam. Yeah. Sandeep, you have been in my class, I have seen you, and many of you, those who have been very, actively not hearing me. You can hear me, but you are listening to me, you will do well. If you are hearing me, you will not be able to do well. And those who have not heard me, there is no guarantee that they will not do well. They may also do well. You never know. It's all about how much you are able to think and justify. There is no right or wrong answer. How you are justifying. So, agar Sandeep, you go to Google and search answer, you will not get anything. If you apply your brain, you will get something. Yeah? Don't worry.
Ma'am, will we have access to all the material from day 1 till now in
Yeah,
PPT?
you have been given the video. So, most of the time I use Blackboards. So, Blackboard, though, the videos can help you. But wherever I have used the PPT, like last class and this class, I will share the PPT. Just give me some time. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
But even if you take my PPT, it will not help you. That's for sure. I will give, but it will not help. You know why? Because
No.
PPTs are very static. They are not dynamic. My questions will be dynamic. Given this situation, in this scenario, what will be? The way I have asked you the question. Yeah.
Okay. The problem is there, not the problem, but it's just that we have 2 professors teaching us at the same time.
Okay.
And then we are also working. So so it's a little difficult to
Sandeep, at least from my side, there is no wrong answer unless or otherwise you don't answer or you answer in French language, which I cannot understand. Yeah, there will be no wrong answer. There will be no negative marks. The only thing is somebody will answer better than the other because the person is able to justify.
Sure. Thank you.
Oh, just give me a minute. Hello. Yeah, is this from MDP? Is this regarding this consumer insight class? So I am having a class right now. Can you call me after 1:15? Okay, thank you. I thought there is a call for you people and your exam. No, there's something else. So Sandeep, don't worry, relax and just try to understand the question and answer not necessarily like, if I say, what type of research. So don't be little, frightened with the question, think, okay, if I'm justifying, it should be descriptive. Defend your answer.
Okay.
Correct. But when you defend your answer, it should be some application of the brain.
Got it. Thank
Fair
you.
enough.
Yeah, nothing else. Don't worry. So let me summarize what was discussed in the entire course. So if you recollect, I spoke to you regarding the, let me take you through the whiteboard so that you can understand. So we discussed about, the consumer decision journey, which took you through different phases. And this was for B2B and for B2C, because I brought in some differences in B2B and B2C. The difference is more about degree than actual difference. Then I say across each of the phase, from need recognition to search for information to evaluation of alternatives to purchase intention, purchase action, and post purchase behavior, every journey you need to understand, see that the pains are reduced, minimized, so that a person will go to the next stage in that way. And finally, next time when there is a need, he will directly go for purchase rather than going for evaluating, because he is happy with your brand and your product. I talked about different platforms where you can have this journey. So it can be in the face of, in a figure of fish, or it can be circular, or it can be funnel. But then when you are in the digital, in the mobile, in the social media, it is more like a fish or a circular. But if you are in the traditional method wherein you go offline, it is more of a funnel. Why? Because in the digital, mobile and social media, you can take decision very fast. You can, validate things from checking with others. Yeah, you can always go back and forward, and you can do things at your leisure, at your convenience, in the way you want to. So the challenge for the marketer is how to bring both of these into one landscape. And therefore I talked about phygital. Yeah. So phygital is about, can I make the digital and the virtual appear same? So if you go to the virtual, you get all the facility of digital. If you go to, physical, you get facility digital. If you go to digital, you get the facility of physical. So I have told you how to do that. Yeah. So let us say I go to a physical store. Do I have touch screen? Can I buy it on the spot? Can I make a comparison? Can the physical store have, the nameplates which are digital, which can change very fast, which can reflect the promotions? I need not to struggle. If you are going to digital, social, or virtual, can I make it appear very, very physical? Yes, by using virtual reality, augmented reality, chatbots, yeah, or using some sort of the artificial intelligence, so that my product discovery becomes very easy for me. Then we talked about different types of research design. So I said, if it is all about what? Characteristics of your audience who will buy, or the target group, always go for a survey. If it is what, meaning you want to know the characteristics, so go for survey. If you want to know the why, go for the qualitative research, exploratory design. And if you want to know the cause and the effect, go for experiments. And I have explained in detail all the type of the methodology. So if it is survey, go for face-to-face surveys, or online, or deep direct interviews. If it is why, go for focus group discussion, go for indirect, deep, indirect, exploratory interviews. Yeah. Like I today taught Zaltman technique, metaphor technique, all these type, your mean and trail technique, they are indirect survey interviews, deep indirect interviews. If you want to know the cause and effect, you can go for experiments. So experiments are different type, lab experiment, field experiments, right? So you need to understand what is your design depending on your objective. Once you know it, then you take all the research data, see what is the insight you are getting about the consumer, what is the action you want to achieve. So accordingly, design, redesign any of the P, maybe product, price, promotion, physical distribution. And if it is more to do with service, the process, physical evidence, and people. So this is all about your consumer insight. Why? Because if I have to summarize finally about consumer insight, you need to understand consumer behavior. It depends on type of person and the type of product. So when I'm saying type of person, whether he's analytical or he is a person who uses heuristics, very quick impulse, does not go for logic. If I'm saying type of product, is it a high involved product or low involved product? So high involved product is I'm buying rarely, very risky, huge ticket size, I cannot return it, dissonance is very high. But if I'm going for a low involved product, I buy regularly, purchase prices are less, dissonance will be less, involvement will be less, I know about the product and the category. If I'm not happy, I can throw it, yeah, because it's a low price. So therefore, these are two big pillars on consumer behavior. This also influences your consumer decision journey, and this entire thing is influenced by the micro and the macro factors. What is micro? Personality, perception, attitude, emotion, how do you learn, everything related to the psychology, to the individual. When I say macro, it is socio, cultural, economic, and political environment. What is social? Meaning your social groups. What is cultural? What is your culture? Are you a person who believes in a culture which is more to do with collectivity, or are you a person who believes in individuality, advanced culture? And all about economic and political condition is, for example, is your economy in recession, is it in inflation? And political environment is government having a regulation, is government interfering the business decisions, the policies and the laws? So this is all about your macro and micro factors. So when you do a research, you do research on any aspect. Let's say you want to understand what type of a person he is, you can do a research. If you want to do a research, which type of people prefer products which are very high involved, again, you can do research. You can do any research, but the output is, when you do market research, it is about what? When you do consumer insight, it is about why you are understanding how this what is about. So let us say the what says, ladies prefer artificial intelligence or virtual reality. That's the what. Then why do they prefer virtual reality is the why, meaning consumer insight. Having understood this, what will be your market actions? So if females prefer virtual reality, your target audience is female, can you bring in that virtual reality part in your retail store or in your website? So those are the things which you need to keep in mind, because it will help you to reach to your objective. With this, I am done. If you have any question, please feel free to ask. I wish you good luck for your exam plus, but don't worry, the exams will be very easy. Apply your brain and not Google or Chat GPT. Okay? Wish you happy and safe Diwali. Have a good day. Any questions? So I will go to the chat. So no negative marking, no.
I have
How many questions? It depends, maybe 4 to 5 or 6. How long time to attend the exam? My part will be depending on the questions. Dear all, please do not get the of the total. Acha, chalo, I am done. Yes.
Ma'am, one question
Hmm.
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you said that market research is about what, and consumer insight is about why, right? So what is usually, you said, is conducted by surveys, be it face-to-face survey or the thing, and why is always exploratory. That is why focused groups or indirect thing.
Yeah.
So are we saying that consumer insights are then mainly the exploratory and market research is
Not
vice versa?
necessarily, not necessarily. When you are talking about marketing research, what is your objective? That will help in research design. So I said survey, I said your, indirect techniques, and I say experiments. Yeah. So let us say this is what, this is why, and this is cause effect. Whatever you are doing, you are giving me some data, some, some information. When I go for consumer insight, how will I use this information to understand the why aspect? So let us say I am going for this why focus group study, and I understood why people are using branded atta, let us say. Hmm? So I got this why. So consumer insight will say, okay, people are using branded atta because of XY reason, which I brought it from market research. Now, based on this why, which will give me a lot of perspective and insight, how will I use this why in designing my advertising or any of the marketing mix? This is one example. Second example, let us say you are saying, female use more of branded atta than male. Yeah, this is what you have done. Consumer insight will be, why is it that female are using more atta, branded atta, not male? Again, you will revert back and ask to that brand manager, sir, would it be okay if you can go for a little bit of a why research design? If they have already done it, use that why for your market action. If they have not done it, please try to evaluate the what can be answered better by the way, which will help me. So if you are just giving me what answer, I need to get why. This will help me in designing a marketing mix far better than only what.
Got it. Thanks, man.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you all. Have a good day. And I will be sharing you the PPTs. Just give me some time. Nice interacting with you. Hope you will be able to apply some of your learning, if not to the exam, at least in your practical life. So wish you good.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Wish
Thank you so
happy
much.
Diwali.
Wish
Thank you
you
so
a
much,
happy
ma'am.
Diwali.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Happy
ma'am.
Diwali. Thank you, ma'am.